Hello friends, welcome to discussion about the questions related to public administration. So one of the questions is statist nature of state is reduced by good governance. This question is pertaining to the chapter 1 of the paper 1. Okay, right? If we try to decode this question, okay, decoding the question is very important skill as far as the writing answer is concerned. So what is talking about statist nature of state is reduced by good governance. Okay, the state has a responsibility to provide the governance. Okay, no matter it is whatever the state is. Okay, state is required to provide the governance, but the governance must be able to provide equal opportunities and right opportunities and quality of life to the people. That is what the real benchmark for the governance. But after the liberalization, privatization, globalization, the concept of the governance has seen a revolutionary change. What is a revolutionary change? The state is slowly shedding his heavy role. In other words, the state is going the direction of the state minimalism. So, state minimalism means state is minimizing its role. Minimizing its role. State is becoming lean, but the state will hold its strength. Okay, this is what the concept of the shrinking role of the state. So state will be focusing upon core aspects and the developmental aspects will be vested with the other agencies, other actors in the society. So the very aspect of the good governance, very concept of the good governance will be centered around the citizen, So after liberalization, privatization, globalization, we can see a different set of theories in the name of new public management. New public management recognizes the comfort, convenience and the cost effectiveness of the services. That is 3E, economy, efficiency and effectiveness. Whatever the Wilsonian perspective that is there, that is making administration business-like. Those business-like efficiencies must be impregnated in the bureaucracy. So that's why governance should be cost conscious and quality conscious, and it must be citizen centric. In this context, what is being discussed? Statist nature of the state is reduced. Okay, how it is being reduced? As we just discussed, under the concept of the good governance, we are not relying only upon the state's capacity to deliver. We are roping in all the like-minded people, different stakeholders, civil society into the process of the development. It means state will be in partnership with the civil society, because anyway, despite the civil society's role is increasing, despite the responsibility of the service quality is vested with the state itself. State cannot compromise its responsibility despite role is performed by the civil society. That's why we can say it's a kind of a partnership between the state and civil society in giving the right standard of the services. We are able to see different patterns of the relationship in terms of environment protection, in terms of midday meals program, in terms of 5 rupees meal program, PDS. In various aspects, the civil society's role is being expected, and it is also increasing. So that's why good governance is a concept which revolves around comfort and convenience of the citizens. Okay, so good governance as a concept which gives the scope for the informality in the service delivery in the place of the formality. It gives more importance for the networked governance, whereas the statism gives more importance for the hierarchy. This concept of the good governance gives more scope for the equity, whereas the traditional statist ideas will be talking about equality. In this way, you are able to see the departure from the statism into the concept of the good governance, that is networked governance. For example, the statism is always revolves around the concept of the rule of law. You can see it means what does that reflect? That reflects the rule orientation. But in the concept of the good governance, you will focus upon goal orientation. So in this way, the good governance is a concept which is highly influenced by the globalization, liberalization, privatization, globalization. It is giving more importance for the quality of services at the convenience of the citizens. For example, one more important thing, in the statism you will see the centralized approach, centralization. Okay, whereas in the good governance you can come across the concept of the decentralization. Okay, so it means you need to believe in the community's capacity to deliver the service. Okay, for example, under the concept of good governance, you will be roping in various social actors. For example, in the case of, for example, environment protection, you will be roping the services of the tribal people because they have the traditional knowledge. Okay, similarly, you take the employment provision, you rope in the services of the self-help groups. Okay, community mobilization in the form of cooperatives, corporate sector cooperation in the form of CSR, corporate social responsibility. Okay, so in this way, multiple partners and different agencies are roped into the service provision. This is, in a way, it is reducing the statist nature of the state. Okay, so right. And one more important thing, it does not mean state will have to be disbanded. It does not mean so. State retains its original role, but of course in a limited manner. For example, I told you, despite the service provision responsibilities are given to the various non-state actors, various civil society organizations, it does not mean government has done away with the responsibility. If any problem arises in the quality of the services delivered by the various stakeholders, definitely the responsibility is shouldered by the government itself. So that's why state cannot distance its responsibility. So fundamentally speaking, state will be acting as a regulator. Regulator means it will be giving certain benchmarks, and state will have to see that wherever the different actors are delivering the services, such services are being delivered on par with the benchmarks set by the state. So this is what the essence we must understand this particular question. So statism is reducing, but it is not completely diminishing, or it is not completely done away with. Okay, still state has a role to place in the matters of the constitution. Okay, state will be there in certain activities, definitely wherever the the NGOs or any other civil society actors are not able to provide. State will be there wherever the core functions of the government lies. For example, law and order, currency, banking regulation. These kind of activities definitely be shouldered by the state. Okay, so in this way we need to express our both views, where the statist nature is decreasing and where the statist nature is retained. Okay, in that way we need to write the answer and sum up the answer with the right conclusion. Okay, so in this way we need to understand the demand of the question. Thank you.